Easter, resurrection, Christ is risen. Thank you for that, choir. And at this point, it seems like there should be something really profound to say. But each year on this day, I'm reminded that words don't exactly cut it. You see, when it comes to resurrection, we have 4 Gospels in the New Testament. And each Gospel writers tell the story of Jesus' resurrection in different ways. They use different pictures and images and characters. And I think my favorite story is found in Mark's Gospel, because Mark has the women going to the tomb where they expect to find the body of Jesus, after the crucifixion, of course. And they arrive, and what they find is that the tomb is empty. And then we're told that they are filled with fear and amazement. And the story just stops. And if you're like me, you're wondering, yeah, but now what? Now what? And it's almost like Mark is saying to us, look, I cannot finish this story for you. You have to go out into the world and find the risen Christ. You have to go out into the world and find new life and resurrection. Now, some of you might be here this morning, even on Easter, and you're saying, look, I just can't, when it comes to this whole dying thing and coming back to life stuff. It's cool on Sunday nights when I'm watching The Walking Dead on TV. But in my real life, in my religion, I just can't intellectually go there. I just can't believe it. So allow me to pose a different question. Not do you believe in bodily resuscitation, but do you believe in resurrection? And I get it, in this world, we have seen plenty of tragedy and suffering and injustice, and so it is really easy to be filled and consumed by cynicism. And you actually start believing that the world is a cold, hard, dark place. And in your own life, you have experienced enough disappointment that when something good happens to you, your hopes don't get too high because you're simply waiting for the next shoe to drop. And when you see the light, you are convinced that darkness is just around the corner. You have become convinced that death and destruction have the final word, not just in your life, but in the life of the world. But then resurrection comes along, and resurrection says, no, God hasn't given up on the world. The story isn't over. Resurrection comes along and says, open. Open yourselves to the new things that God is doing all around you. Do you believe in resurrection? Are you open to resurrection? Now, I also like Mark's story because fear and new life walk side by side, and how true is this in your own life? You see, it's really easy to come here, especially on Easter morning, and to put on that forced smile. Happy Easter. Isn't life great? But honestly, think about the times you have experienced new life. Think of your own experiences and observations. Doesn't fear and beauty, don't they walk side by side? Like the addict who walks into a recovery room, a support group for the first time. Man, really scary, but beautiful because new life is finally within grasp. Or how about the time you went and asked forgiveness from the person you had so deeply hurt? Scary, but beautiful because you know the newness that is possible in this relationship. Or what about the guy who works his whole life just to get more and more stuff? Gains the world but loses his soul. But somewhere along the way, he decides to give it all up, to work beside the poor and the marginalized. Really scary because it's a process of loss, but really exciting and beautiful because something new and better is happening. Or what about the time you held your baby boy or your baby girl for the first time? Do you remember the hands? Grabbing those hands, and there's something about those hands where you think to yourself, this is beautiful. But oh my gosh, do I have what it takes? Do I have the skill set for this? And of course the answer is heck no. But you're going to learn real quick. And there is just something about the hands, even when they get older. When I was going over my sermon last night in the kitchen, my two daughters, my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old, they were sitting eating their macaroni and cheese. And when I came to this part about the hands, Selah, my 4-year-old, reaches out her hand and she wants me to hold her hand. There's just something about the hand. And then I had to start all over, of course, because Shiloh, my 2-year-old, says, Poppy, my hand too. Beautiful and scary. I was talking to Paul Canaday, one of our ushers here, just on Friday night. He's getting ready to be a dad for the first time. I said, Paul, man, you ready for this? You excited about this? Get this. He says, yeah, but I'm terrified. And how perfect is that? Because with new life, we have the feeling of being terrified and the feeling of joy that you can hardly contain. Why the fear? Because you realize what is about to happen here is significant. God is everywhere. Resurrection is all around us. Are you open to it?